Teddy Feinberg, Teddy and Brook Show. We will continue, I guess, calling it the Teddy and Brook Show until the end of the year. Speaking of the end of the year, next week we will have a year in review preview. We will focus on NMSU. We will focus on high school sports. We'll try to do it the right way. We might even break it up into 2 shows. Who knows? There certainly will be a lot to cover. There was some things to cover this past week in Las Cruces sports. We'll start off with sad news, honestly, pertaining to Aggie football. Their new offensive line coach, Chris Symington, was, according to police reports, caught huffing in a public place, caught huffing compressed air in a couple public places, in the parking lot of a hardware store, also in the bathroom of a convenience store in town. Really a sad story above all else. We really hope Coach Symington gets better above all else. He announced his resignation. He will not be back with the program. Hopefully he gets help. On paper, a good football coach. So hopefully he can get his career back on track and he can do it the right way, and we're definitely pulling for him. It does bring up the question, what are the Aggies going to do in the short term and then in the immediate future in terms of hiring a new offensive line coach? They've had a lot of turnover over the year. Back to 2011, they had Jason Lensmeyer, who was a very good offensive line coach and a great recruiter for the program. He went to the University of New Mexico. Really can't be blamed for that. The reality is he went to his alma mater. He certainly got a pay increase. They brought in Brad Bedell. He at least made on paper a lateral move after that year to Arkansas State. Last year they had Bart Miller. He was really a good up-and-coming coach. Again, you could say a lateral move to Florida Atlantic, but Arkansas State and Florida Atlantic are winning more football games. Arkansas State went to a bowl game. So while they might be mid-major programs, they're more successful programs on paper. So fellow mid-major programs, but in their minds, a step up. Then the program seemed to really land on their feet. Steve Marshall was a great hire at the program. It seemed on paper, very experienced coach. I didn't think he would be here for the long haul per se. He had a lot of experience in the college and the NFL ranks. He was here for spring football and left. He was hired in January. He left 3 or 4 weeks ago. He got a job with the Green Bay Packers. Coach Symington, obviously, hindsight's 2020. On paper, very good hire, but obviously in other respects, not a great one. He is now gone, and now they're back to square one. They're back to the drawing board. Let's say this right now. First of all, the offensive line is a huge position on the football field. Oftentimes in programs, aside from the 2 coordinators, the offensive line coach is the most compensated coach, or one of them. You're working with 5 guys, and in order to really have the offense move, it all starts up front. That cliche in football, it's true. It starts up front. There's good coaches out there. And the reality is it's still Division I football. People want to coach D1 football. So there will be resumes at the door for that position. You got to hire the right guy. Coach Symington seemed like a very good hire on paper, and I was very pleased after they announced it. They need to find the right hire there to make it work. Continuity, and I've been saying this for years. I've been saying it since 2011, since Jason Lensmeyer left. Since Doug Martin was a very good offensive coordinator here and then went to Boston College. Continuity is huge on the assistant coaching staff. It's number 1. And getting coaches to stay here is hard. They can be young up-and-comers. They can be wily veterans. It's just not a destination spot for assistant coaches at this point. It could be one day, but right now it's not. And until they can get that figured out, it's going to be tough. We'll see who they bring in. It's a long time to talk about an offensive line. Let's move on. Aggie baseball is in the WAC tournament. They are playing Texas Pan American right now. They lost an 8-1 lead against Utah Valley in the first game Wednesday night and lost 11-10. But then they bounced back. They beat Seattle. I think they're actually a better team than Pan American. Pan American's the number 2 seed, but I think the Aggie baseball team should beat them. The thing is, when you fall into this loser's bracket, you use so much pitching. And there are some decent teams in the WAC. Sacramento State's a decent team. Bakersfield is a decent team. So the Aggies have to win 2 today, then they have to win 2 tomorrow, and then they have to win a championship game on Sunday. That's a lot. It's taxing on your arms. They have ran the gauntlet. If they can win a couple more, though, it will be a successful tournament. We'll see how they do. If they can beat Pan Am, and if they beat Pan Am, then they play Sacramento State tonight. And if they can win those 2 games, it would be a nice feather in their cap. So thanks for checking us out as always. At Teddy Feinberg on Twitter, our Sun News Sports Facebook page, as always, lcsun-news.com for the latest and greatest. Have a good one.